What's going on, y'all? Omocha here, back with another figure review. Today we're taking a look at the Red Bolt Studio and Lionheart Studio Fenrir collab, also known as the legendary Super Saiyan Broly. Unfortunately, I had missed out on the first release, and then I saw all the pictures of how amazing this figure was, so I had to get my hands on it for the re-release. So this figure was originally released by Beast Deities, formerly known as Kong Studios, currently known as, I believe, Mythos Anime. So I'm not sure which of the two studios this cover-up name is supposed to be for them. I don't know if they're supposed to be Red Bolt Studio or Lionheart Studio in this collaboration. I'm assuming Lionheart Studio is their cover name in this collaboration. I got mine on 5K Toys. I pre-ordered him a couple months ago. I got the email that he arrived in their warehouse sometime last week, and it took a couple of days to get here, but arrived in amazing condition. 5K Toys does a great job of packaging their figures. I think it was like somewhere around $90 for him, including the shipping. I got the 0041, which is the battle damage Broly. They have 3 variations of this Broly. They have him in his first appearance. This is him from the second Broly movie, and then they have a What If Broly, which is a Super Saiyan 3 Broly. They still have them available on 5K Toys for about $89 to $90 plus shipping, so still relatively affordable considering how much that the first release goes for on the secondhand market. So as you can see, this Broly comes in 3 different packages. His body, his ki blast, and his hands come in this box right here. This box comes with his face plates, and this one holds his hair. For this one being the second release Broly, this comes with the gold hair. I believe the first appearance Broly that they have, I think it's 003. That one comes with the green hair. So let's get him out of the box. One thing that's pretty common with Beast Deities, Kong Studio, whatever they're going by nowadays, I don't even think they're still going by Mythos Anime anymore. They always have the figures come with an animal head sculpt and different hands. In the past, they've always been like a solid color, but I think between the hands and the head sculpt, this one it looks like they actually did some painting to them. So they painted the eyes, the teeth, and the nose on the head sculpt, and then the hands, they painted the nails, which is an interesting touch, but I'm not going to be using that. So for the sake of the video, I'm going to go ahead and get his hair sculpt onto him. That way we can just review Broly. A funny thing with Beast Deities is that they'll mask up the packaging as something else. So for the hair sculpt, it says that it's a pen holder. Normally in the past, these will just have the head sculpt in them, but this one actually comes with a pencil. They gave you pencil to really sell that this is a pen/pencil holder. With the first release of this Broly figure, there was a lot of issues that people had online with getting the hair sculpt onto the neck peg. I'm not sure if this one remedied that issue, but for the sake of not risking it for the biscuit, I'm gonna go ahead and heat up his hair sculpt so I can get it nice and snug onto that neck peg without any issues. Alright, so we have the hair on there. Let me get one of his faces on just so we can have him looking like Broly. When you get his face sculpts out, he comes with earrings. So you're gonna have to put the earrings on to the face sculpts individually. Once his earrings are on his face sculpt like so, you pop him onto the hair. Alright, now we got him looking like Broly. So first thing right off the bat, this figure is massive, so it's tough to get him in frame, but he looks amazing. I totally get why a lot of people had FOMO when this figure first came out. I think that any figure that gets a reissue, the reissue is going to have better features or better things going about it than the original. I didn't know too much of the issues firsthand. I know that there was issues getting the hair sculpt onto the neck pegs. I honestly didn't even need to heat up the hair. Before I even went downstairs to heat it up, I was like, let me just see how much force you really need. And it didn't really need that much force to get onto there, so that's a big improvement. Secondly, I'm really loving the shading on this, especially between the abs and the chest right here. The arms remind me a lot of the Tamashii Broly, both in the joints that they use for the shoulders and the elbows and just the overall shading for it. Looks really good. His face looks good as well. I know when he first came out that people were complaining that the face sculpt looked a little bit too small with the hair, but I think that the proportions for this look great, honestly. When you see it in person versus sometimes pictures don't really do the figure justice because of the lighting, the angle of the picture, this looks really good. The detailing with his toga, the damaged cutouts on the edge, the hole right here, it's a soft plastic so it moves very easily. The detailing in the pants look phenomenal. You can see some of his calves sticking out right here, and they gave some detailing to the sculpt. I think the colors look great on it. The proportions look great on this figure. I'm thoroughly impressed. The only issue that I have is just how am I gonna fit him in frame? So with the exception of the box that his hair comes in, this box comes with his face sculpts. He comes with 4 face sculpts, one of which is on him currently. As well as in the package, he comes with a baggie of his earrings to go onto the face sculpts. For the box with his body, he comes with his cross arms right here that comes in 2 pieces, so it's much easier to get on than a lot of other cross arm pieces we've gotten in the past with other companies and Tamashii. And then he also comes with a tree of hands. I put the hands that he came with, the beast hands, into this package just to keep them all together. So he comes with a decent amount of accessories for his size. He also comes with 2 key blasts, which for the first time of any Broly figure that I've seen, he actually comes with hands that have pegs in them, so these can go directly onto his hands and not onto a stand with his hand posed behind it. So definitely a big plus in the key blast range for a Broly figure. Now let's take a look at his articulation. So for his size, he does have some pretty remarkable articulation, but then he does have some not so satisfactory articulation. For one, his neck, he doesn't get a whole lot of range on his neck peg. So this is as far down as he can look before his face starts to pop off. This is how far back he can look. So an okay amount of range looking up and not too great looking down, which I feel like he does a lot of looking down more than looking up. Side to side is pretty minimal. For his shoulder joints, he can do a T-pose, full 360 rotation on the arm. His butterfly joints are really good, considering they gave him a soft plastic chest. So one thing that I think is really great that a lot of figures have been coming with is soft plastic goods. And by goods, I mean like soft plastic chest, soft plastic torso in general. Like his whole torso is soft plastic, which makes it much easier to pose him, as well as the soft plastic toga that he has. It's much softer than the torso, of course, but gets a lot of good range for his legs. His butterfly joints can come all the way to here. So a figure this size, to be able to get that, I think that's fantastic. His chest reminds me of the Storm Arena Yujudo chest. That's like the type of soft plastic we're dealing with him. So I think that is a huge plus. Full 360 bicep swivel, double jointed elbows, but he only comes up to 90 degrees exactly because his arms are just so bulky. Wrist articulation is pretty good. His ab crunch is pretty decent if you get it to go right. This is how far forward he can lean with his ab crunch, and this is how far back he can go. Full 360 rotation on the waist. This Broly is a 3.0, so if you look right here, 3.0 hips, so he gets pretty deep splits, which is super wild to me. Like seeing a figure this large have this much articulation, thoroughly impressed. He can kick this far forward, this far back. He has double jointed knees, so his knees can go just past 90 degrees. Ankle rocker, can get some pretty decent range out of them. His ankles can go that far down, this far up. Toe hinge can go almost 90 degrees, so really good range on the toes. And I take a lot of his articulation with a grain of salt for the things that can't go as far, because again, this is a 10-inch tall figure. This is a massive figure. Now let's swap out his faceplates and hands. For faces, he comes with a serious face, a maniacal grin face, a shouting face, and a smirking face. For hands, he comes with a pair of fists, a pair of grabby hands, a pair of open palm key blast hands, and a pair of key blast hands with pegs. Now let's take a look at his accessories. For the accessories, Broly comes with a pair of cross arms that are 2 pieces, so it's much easier to attach. They attach at the bicep swivel, which honestly is my least favorite way of attaching cross arm pieces, but the fact that it's 2 pieces does make up for it, so it makes it easier to connect. Then Broly comes with a pair of key blasts that I'm going to pre-attach to the hands with pegs on them, and this also counts as a hand sculpt, but it comes with a Vegeta head sculpt for the Kong Studio one. I believe the first appearance Broly figure comes with a hair sculpt for Goku. I don't have the Kong Studio Vegeta figure, but I do have the Daima figure with the Kong Studio neck peg, so I'll probably put that on here to show you guys how it looks. But to start, let's take a look at his cross arms. So you're gonna pop his biceps off at the swivel. The bicep doesn't stay attached to the elbow, so it actually comes out. So just make sure that you keep your bicep pieces with the arm they came from, so you don't accidentally confuse which side is which. So this is the right side. They have an R inside of this, and then an L inside of this one. So this is what it looks like with the cross arms on them. One thing of note that I would like to say, at least for mine in particular, is when you're putting the cross arms on him, you're going to want to make sure that the butterfly joints are pushed all the way back. Same thing with his shoulders. You want to push those back and then down so that they're not completely crunched forward. For whatever reason, they don't sit too well when they're crunched forward. So this gives him a more natural look for the cross arms. Next, I'm going to swap them out for the key blast hands. I like the texture of these key blasts a lot. They have a nice amount of transparency to them. They don't look look too transparent, where they look cheap like some of the Figure Rise Ki Blasts. They have some good weight to them. Now for the Vegeta head sculpt hand, I'm gonna take my bulked up Daima Vegeta. I'm gonna take this hair sculpt off. Now we got the head sculpt on the Daima Vegeta body. Swap out these hands. This is what it looks like with the Daima Vegeta body on that Vegeta head sculpt. It's a little bit on the smaller side, but if you have the Kong Studio body, or if you have any neck peg conversions for any other 3.0 Vegetas or 2.0 Vegetas, you should be able to make this work. But I think this looks dope. All in all, I think that this is a fantastic Broly figure. I'm really glad that I finally got my hands on it. I definitely didn't want to miss out on this release like I did the first release. I have to say, I'm pretty impressed with this figure. For a figure this large, the fact that its articulation is the way that it is, and the detailing is the way that it is, which for a figure as large as this is, if it did not have much detail to the paint or anything, would be kind of disappointing. So the fact that it is this scale allows for more details to be done to it. The shading and the muscles look fantastic. The detailing and the battle damage of the pants and the toga look great. There's a great green gradient down the center of his part. The jewels on the jewelry look fantastic. He's a lot of fun to pose. I keep putting him next to the Ichiban Show Dragon Ball figures because I can't believe how large this figure is. If I was going to rate this figure on a scale from 1 to 7 Dragon Balls, I would definitely have to say that this is a high 6. Wow. The only reason why I can't make it a 7 is just because I have had a little bit of issues putting on the cross arms. For some reason, they don't stay too well in the bicep swivel. It might just be me. I might need to heat up the joints and just get it in there a little bit further so that it can settle into the shape that it needs to be for the pegs. One thing I noticed with the hair sculpt is that the plastic piece that the peg goes into has detached from the hair, so I'm gonna have to probably glue that back in so that it stays in the hair. And I do need to put a little bit of shock oil into the neck peg because it doesn't swivel too well, and I believe that might have been what caused that plastic piece to loosen up in the hair. Aside from those two things, if I was gonna go down to like a decimal rating, it would literally be like a 6.7 out of 7 Dragon Balls. Very close to being a 7. It's just those little things that have bothered me with the figure, but it's nothing crazy that would make me deter anybody from getting this figure. If you can get your hands on this figure while it's still available in 5K Toys, I'll put a link down below so that y'all can get your hands on him. Let me know in the comments if you plan on getting this Broly figure. Do you have any of the other ones? Do you have the first release? Are there any things that were in the first release that I didn't touch on in the second release because it probably was remedied? Or was there any things that happened with this figure that I mentioned that you dealt with your first release? But don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification button so you get notified every time I drop a new figure review video. And until next time, peace.